Hello. We're now to the third video. Thank you for watching these. I didn't mean for these to be formal or anything like that. It's just kind of my thoughts on the specific subjects in a very informal way. So I hope it's useful. This video we're going to talk about the Luciferian philosophy and self-initiation. So self-initiation is not specifically a ceremony or a certain chant or ritual that you do. Those are tools to assist you, but what self-initiation is a self-dedication towards the path that you are dedicated to. And I can tell you, from when you start, when you begin, to many years later, if you stay the course, you're going to be so pleased that you have, if you're attuned to Luciferianism, because it is going to completely enhance and offer a really changing perception over time. For example, when in the 90s, when I first began and proceeded in ceremony and ritual, from all the different types I did, I approached it in a very literal, theistic way. And I was young and didn't have the knowledge that I have now. But I'll tell you that my philosophy, as reflected in the grimoires, was in an infancy. It was crystallized in some aspect, even then. So when someone said demon, spirit, God, whatever that was, I saw those things, and I saw darkness as a creative, balanced, positive thing for me. It inspired and gave an inspired strength within myself. So even though I approached it in the way I did, to a couple years later, through my self-initiatory rites, my insight rolls, all of these things that I did, the aim was still going. The unconscious, my subconscious, and ultimately years later, my daemon understood exactly what had to happen. And once research began to go layers down, and the utterance and the word made flesh, or Luciferian philosophy, Luciferianism, started to manifest, then I understood that all of these things had importance, but it depended on how the individual approaches it. So my point to this is, the individual, when you first begin, and you go through, as the other two videos explained, applying the philosophy. So that's magic, first and foremost. Willed thought, willed action, anything you're doing to compel change, because you're creating energy, you're shaping energy, you're making things be sustained, created, destroyed, changed according to your will. That's magic. On a very, without ceremony, it's in thought, it's your intense passion, it's your desire to do these things. That is magic. No gods required. No spirituality required at that stage. Now, for those who are interested, really inspired with the philosophy, have applied it and are starting to understand it now, you want to proceed, if you're interested in the path of ritual and the ceremonial magical aspect. Even if you're not performing ceremonial rituals, you're doing chants, you're doing working out, reciting ritual while you're working out, whatever it is, whatever your thing is, understand that when you do it, will, desire, belief, and your intense, you look at it like it is literal in your mind while you're doing it. Let your imagination loose and be inspired. That will change and bring you results and validate things that make all the other questions on the surface pointless. How can I always tell a semi-successful Luciferian, someone who's really an initiate, really an adept on any level, is someone who doesn't give a fuck about online other satanic or whatever philosophical views, theistic, atheistic. If you are a Luciferian, you can say fuck off to anybody who tries to argue about their view and to tell you you're wrong. It doesn't matter how you believe. When you enter the ritual chamber, if you believe in a literal spiritual consciousness called Lucifer, and this bringer of light inspires your success, inspires that initiatory process, then you invest that passion and the imagination, all of those things. That is critical. If you're an atheist and you're performing it for psychodrama and to work your emotional energy up, great. No one can tell you you're wrong. But validation is important. Outside, as I've spoken about the philosophy, rational interactions have to occur. You can't represent Luciferianism by saying that Lucifer talks to you and that you summon this demon, that demon, and you can offer no validation for it. It's subjective. You can't present evidence in a physical sense. You can validate the actions that you do, the steps you take, and the results that you aim for. That's validation, and that's important for you. So with that said, spirituality. You know, I've said before in all of my grimoires, take any one of the ones from the last 10 years, okay, or even 7 years, and understand what the word spirit means, and that it's not a Christian term. They kind of took it over and, you know, associated with their religion. But spirituality is built by not blind faith, but by a combination of will, desire, belief, your imagination, your knowledge of the symbols, and the ability to use your imagination to completely visualize and believe as it's happening right that moment in what you're doing. The validation comes when you attain results. When you see that energy rolling to create all those, that path, that synchronicity in Magick, that validation, that insight brings and builds and crystallizes your own validated personal and subjective spirituality, which cannot be broken by anybody's arguments or religious bullying in groups, or family dinner tables. None of that. Once you have it, you have it. You'll have bad times, you'll have good times, you'll question yourself many times. But the importance is building that character and seeing things through. Now, establishing a preparation for ritual ceremonial magic before your self-initiation rite is focus on meditation. Begin at small time periods and begin to control your thoughts, your mind. calm yourself, focus yourself. Meditation is very important because this focuses mental energy. This focuses your energy that you're going to send forth, build, and focus and direct towards what you wish to achieve, short and long term. Like I said, these are validated in your rational daily life. Understand that Luciferianism is not, I'm not whitewashing anything. Depending on who you are in your path, exploring and invoking the darkness, the primal survival instinct that we are all born with, that we've evolved with, is paramount to explore and understand, to control it. And by controlling it, using that primal raw energy to enhance and guide, or be guided by the light or the inner conscious spark that makes us all potentially divine, in that we are responsible for our lives. And we've attained validation that, yeah, we're achieving apotheosis by doing these things, by validating what we wish to achieve. Luciferians are, in a spiritual sense, at base, predatory spiritualistic beings. We recognize the laws of nature, survival of the fittest, that the strong rule the weak and the clever rule the strong. Exalt, watch in nature the predatory interactions of animals, and watch the destruction in nature, but also the creation. Disease, health, beauty, ugliness, all of these things all come from nature. It's the balance. So you have to explore and completely embrace darkness, and then find your inner torch, your light that you're going to shine forth in your life. Without one, you cannot have the other. Any one of the self-initiation rituals from, I'll give a few examples, depending on your interest: the Bible, the adversary, beginning Luciferian magic, fallen angels, even Sabeti, Darauga, Dragon of the Two Flames, any of those and others can be used once you determine a rite that you're connected with, a ceremony. Adapt it if you have to, but set a goal and go for it. Continue, practice it daily or weekly, whatever your structure is, whatever your goals are, and validate it. Self-initiatory rites for, say, a self-dedication, you'll find the new version of the self-illumination rite, which I will publish again shortly. It'll be widely available. That's an excellent introductory rite, a self-dedication, because you're affirming and recognizing your potential and your dedication to the path of the adversary. Those are key. But as you perform ceremonies, as you go forward, find what inspires you and make it work for you. And then invest complete passion and belief in those ceremonies. Validate them, and as you attain, and you start to attain that path to power, whatever power means to you in the rational world, then indulge and enjoy, but build self-discipline in that. These are just a few things, basic things, for a new Luciferian to do. And don't worry about endless questions. Don't second guess yourself. You have to. The successful Luciferians, Satanists or otherwise, are people who are bold and believe fully in themselves and what they're doing. So when you approach a ritual, don't worry about, oh, what if I pronounce it wrong? As long as you vibrate that and enhance and feel that energy as you're reciting it, it doesn't matter, because you will attain results. Thank you very much. More videos on the way, and some announcements.